Yeah, I'm Amanda, and welcome to the Best Damn Coach podcast, where I will teach you how to coach yourself, how to coach your clients, and how to run your coaching business. The number one goal of this show, though, is to help you be the best damn coach you can be so your clients go out and tell the world about you. So, let's do the damn thing. Welcome to this amazing episode of the Best Damn Coach podcast. I have 3 members of the B.D.C. that are going to be joining us today and talk about what it means to be a coach in this current world. And they're going to be sharing their experience inside the Best Damn Coach. I wanted to also share that the B.D.C., the Best Damn Coach community, is open for you. We are just wrapping up with our client attraction challenge that was amazing. And we have opened the doors with some amazing bonuses as we head into May. And I want to make sure that you know about them. But before I share those, I want to share a little bit more about Best Damn Coach. It was a program created with you in mind, those of you that want to literally be the best damn coach you can be. And you know that up to this point, you've maybe invested in certifications and education, or maybe you're just on this beginning stages and you don't know what certifications to invest in. Pump the brakes, come join us. Because inside the B.D.C., we focus on growing your mastery as a coach. Even if you've coached 0 clients or even if you've coached 10, we want you to be the best damn coach possible. But here's the thing. You also have to be great at entrepreneurship. You have to build the skill of entrepreneurship because to be the best damn coach you can be, it does require both. And there aren't programs out there that are really helping you master both areas. We meet weekly as a community. Each week's workshop is tangible. There are takeaways that you directly implement into your coaching practice. And what I teach inside is what's grown my business from nothing to making millions of dollars is focusing on serving your people. Because when you do that, you will have word of mouth referrals coming your way and you're going to be renewing clients, which is free marketing and advertising. So who doesn't want that? I'm going to teach you how to repurpose the results, how to collect those results, and how to share them to the world so you can build that know, like, and trust factor with your audience. And we also have a community of coaches that are doing what you're doing so you don't feel alone in the process. This month, though, we are doing some really cool bonuses, one of which we have never done before. When you join right now, you will have a 1-to-1 session with me. We can work on strategy. We can work on mindset. We can just work on whatever is keeping you stuck. The other thing that we are offering is what we call phone a friend LifeLine calls. It's just like in those moments where you feel like everything's falling apart, or maybe you're stuck in a launch, or you just feel like nothing's working, then you literally email the team and you say, I want to use one of my LifeLine calls. And immediately I will get you on my schedule in the next 48 hours so I can coach you through it. Like, I don't know. That value is wild. And it's because I know that sometimes we just have these moments that we need guidance, because I've been there too. And lastly, we are giving you access to a 4-step training that has really supported my clients over the years. And that is how to really handle your business finances. Like, what do I do so that I maximize profit and I create safety in my business around money? And so all of these things are yours when you join the community, as well as full access to 2 done-for-you resources that we've created inside the coaching vaults and the business vault. So you don't have to do anything from scratch. You don't have to write emails from scratch. We have forms for you. If everything you could imagine that you would need as a coach already started for you, so you don't have to. So to check out more about the Best Damn Coach, head on over to amanda-walker.com/Best Damn Coach. Learn more about the details. You can join us now and take advantage of all the amazing things we are offering to you. Welcome, you guys, to the Best Damn Coach podcast. Today is a super special day because it's not often that I have not 1, but 2, but 3 actual clients with us live. And we are recording right now in Riverside, which is like the coolest podcasting platform that we've moved over to. So I get to see their faces. But today we are coming together to talk about what's happening inside Best Damn Coach, how to become the Best Damn Coach, and really shedding light on their journeys through becoming a coach and what that has meant for them in both life and in relationships that they've been able to form. For me, I think one of the most important things that I want to talk about is how to maintain integrity as a coach as you learn and grow inside the industry. So before we get started, I'm going to give each of these amazing ladies an opportunity to introduce themselves. So they're going to say who they are, what they do, who they coach, and where you can connect with them. And then we're going to dive in. So go for it, Archana.
Amanda, it's so great to be here. And I am excited to share a little bit about myself. My name is Archana Shrestha. I am a physician life coach, and I help women physicians, specifically physician moms, lose weight for the very last time by tackling something that so many of us as physician moms face, which is a ton of stress, and which oftentimes comes with a lot of stress eating. So that is what I do. I'm super passionate about it. And if people want to learn more about what I do or work with me, they can go to mamadocschool.com. And my program is called the Mama Docs Weight Loss Accelerator.
Amazing. Thank you. Shannon, go for it.
I am Shannon Brown. I am a relationship coach. I work with folks who are either just needing reconnected because they're emotionally disconnected in the relationship. And I also work with those folks that are trying to recover from infidelity. And I am a licensed marriage and family therapist as well. So I've been doing this for about 20 years. So I'm very passionate about keeping relationships together, growing those relationships, keeping them together if something has happened that's broken them, like infidelity or a betrayal. If anyone wants to connect with me, the best way to just see what I'm about and connect is probably on Instagram. So reconnected_relationship.
I'm Tina Fitzlof, and I coach women over 40. I help them reconnect with their purpose, rediscover who they are and who they want to be, and ultimately just create a life that they love. I'm super excited to be here. And right now I'm just offering one-on-one coaching. And the best place to find me is at Tina Fitzlof Coaching on Instagram.
Amazing. Okay, you guys rocked it. And what I want to just thread into this as a commonality is none of you went to school and decided that you were always going to be a coach, right? You did something else. You have this other career, this other part of you, and something brought you into coaching. And I think often it's very easy to see where somebody is right now and not really know what's led up to this. So I would love to know, just from whatever order, why did you decide to become a coach? What prompted you? Hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this thing that I've never done before and walk away from. I mean, all of you essentially have either fully walked away from careers or are managing two careers and wanting to, transition full time into coaching. But share with me, why coaching?
Yeah, I can go first and answer that question. This is Archana here. And so I am a physician, and that's my first career. It's still my career, actually. I still do work as a physician, but honestly, just introducing myself and leading with physician life coach as opposed to physician was a big deal for me to do this, as we're talking, because so often I lead with my identity as a physician, and it's such a big part of who I am. And, to answer your question, why did I become a coach? I mean, I think for so many of us, it has to do with our own journeys, right? And the struggles that we were facing. For me, I had a weight loss journey that I went on. I was feeling, as a physician mom working in the emergency department full time, had two kids at home, I would come home to the second shift. I wasn't finding time for myself to exercise, to eat healthy, to get enough sleep, to do any of the things that allowed me to really just take care of myself. And so I was feeling burnt out as well professionally, and then also had some parental burnout going on as well with two little kids at home and never feeling like I had enough time for myself. And so I was finally realized at some point, when my scrub pants no longer fit and when I was huffing and puffing going up the stairs and unable to keep up with my kids, that I needed to, take some time for myself. And I began on a self-care and weight loss journey, and ended up connecting with a coach who helped me along that journey overcome burnout, helped me lose weight. for the last time. And a lot of times what happens then is people notice, right? Like, hey, you've had this transformation. What's going on? What are you doing? Can you help me? And that was something that I was like, yeah, I think I can. And my coach was actually a physician life coach. And I was like, well, if she's doing it, maybe I can do it too. And so that's kind of where I got started with coaching. And it's been such a rewarding thing to do. And I think very aligned with my career as well, because as a physician, in many ways, like, although we're never called coaches as doctors, but in many ways, you know, you're advising, you're guiding, you're counseling patients through different things that they're going through in life. So it's very natural. And a lot of it is about asking great questions of your patients. And I know, Amanda, that's something that you always say, that coaching really is about asking great questions. So in many ways, it's very aligned.
Yeah, that's so true. It is. And oftentimes I think that coaching element of being a physician is even, like, this is my opinion, but it's even more important. And how amazing would it be for like physicians to have that skill set, you know, collectively across the board. So amazing. How about you, Tina? Like, why coaching? And then we'll hear from Shannon too.
Well, much like Archana, it was a transformative experience that I had through coaching that really brought me to wanting to be a coach. I worked in corporate America for a really long time, and it's really interesting. Like, you know, as I think back, when I was really young, I had this nudge that I should try to be an entrepreneur, that I wanted to be my own boss. But I ended up climbing that corporate ladder so quickly, and it felt so easily that I just kept climbing it. And when I got near the top is when I realized I wasn't feeling fulfilled. Like, there was more to me than just this career that I had. And I had a lot of my identity wrapped up in that. And working in corporate and working in healthcare, there's a lot of acquisitions and mergers. And through that, I experienced several layoffs. And it was during one of those periods when I was laid off that I decided I want to get a coach and I want to see what else is out there for me. And that's when everything changed. And I know that I transformed so much. And I just feel like there's so many women out there that are going through that exact same thing. And I would love to help and support them through their own transformation experience.
I love it. So many common threads there for sure. So Shannon, how about you? Why coaching?
Well, you know, I feel like as a therapist, even though we are trained to go backwards a lot and talk about why we do what we do based on our childhood, those experiences, I have found that throughout my career, I've probably been more of a coach than a therapist. So actually being able to just really actually go into coaching and be able to do what I really am and say that I am a coach that's been an interesting journey for me. I've always been like, what's next? Okay, let's look to the present and the future versus the past. And I like coaching versus therapy because I can really go a lot deeper in terms of how often I can have contact with my clients. As a therapist, it's one and done. Maybe it's one and I'll maybe see you in a couple weeks. And this way I can have, if I need to, daily contact with my clients to help them, support them, and integrate the things that we're talking about. So just think it's just a lot more conducive to faster growth, I guess, to be able to do the coaching piece.
I love that you said that. I mean, those of you listening, I selected these three women because they come from very different backgrounds. And I want them to be an example of like what's possible, because you've got Tina, who I think so many people can relate to being in that corporate ladder and feeling that lack of fulfillment. And maybe you guys can feel that too, Shannon and Archana. But even though I wasn't in corporate America, I did teach and I still was like, okay, I haven't tapped into my full potential. I know there's more, right? And to be able to completely walk away with that and be like, I'm all in. I'm just going to do this coaching thing, right? And that is extremely empowering. But I also think like Archana and Shannon, there's a lot of people out there that have their identity wrapped up, haven't invested in a ton amount of time and education to like have that identity. And then it's like, I'm going to coach. And people are like, what? You would step away and do something different? The truth is yes, because the collective synergy here is that coaching has changed each one of our lives. We've all just said that in some capacity. And when you feel that, and those of you listening that are feeling it and you don't like know what it looks like, you don't have that perfect plan, it's like when you feel that, then that is for me the nudge that there is a way to bring it to fruition and give it to other people, because you know what is on the other side of that. And I think that that is the message that I want to just keep reminding people of if you're feeling it, then there is possibility to create it. And these ladies are all examples of coming forth through it and like, hey, we're here and we're figuring it out as we go. Which really leads me to something that Archana said. You said, when you're talking about your journey a little bit, you were like, people notice your transformation as you go through. And I'm sure people have noticed it in Tina and Shannon and Archana, right? When we get this support. And that makes me think about just like integrity, self-integrity in business, because it's definitely an area where I'm frustrated with the coaching industry, right? I've seen it really be monetarily emphasis, like show me all the dollars you're making. And like that proves to be the carrot that's being dangled. And it's very tempting, as a newer coach or up and coming coach. But I'm curious, like, what are ways that when you select a mentor or as the mentor, what's important to you to be able to kind of walk the walk or hold integrity when it comes to your coaching or inside of your business so that your clients kind of see that as a model?
Yeah. For me, when I'm looking for a coach, I'm always looking at like, okay, has this person gone to where I want to go? Like, have they achieved the dream that I'm hoping to achieve? That's the first thing. Cause I feel like, well, if they haven't done it, then like, how can they like guide me in a meaningful way or, maybe help me fast track that path, And also, like when I found you, Amanda, what I liked, and part of the reason why I wanted to coach with you was because you were also a mom and I'm a mom. And I was like, okay, well, I just feel like the responsibilities that we have as women are oftentimes different than as men. And then as moms, we just have this like strong pull to be with our kids and our kids want to be with us and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't want to build this business sacrificing a lot of like, my family time, my family life, like I had already been working in the ER, already sacrificing a lot of family time. I worked a lot of evenings, nights, holidays. And like my kids, when they were little, would be like crying when I was like going to work, things like that on the weekends, and I was like, the last thing I need to do is create another business that also pulls me away from my family. And so, I think like when someone is selecting a coach or deciding if they want to work with someone, I think that those are some of the things that are running through their heads. And so that's part of why I selected you as a coach, Amanda, and wanted to be a part of the B.D.C. community. But also like, I realized like that's probably what's going on in the minds of people who are looking to work with me. They're like, well, has she been there? Is she walking the walk? Is she doing these things that she says she's going to tell me to do? And then I think also just like what kind of success has she had? And then I think they're just also looking at like, is she happy doing this? Like, is she like feeling good? How's her energy? How's her mood? Like, I think like all of those things like play into it. So I just really dive in. And like one of the biggest things that I always do is like, I'm always working on myself. I'm always trying to be better myself, improving myself. It helps that I love personal development. Like it's one of my favorite things to do. I love to read like self-help books. I could just like binge like courses all day long, but I also do put into action like what I'm doing, what I'm saying and what I'm learning. So I think like, hopefully that answered your question. I may have gone off on some tangents there, but like, I think that's the integrity piece.
Yeah. And I think that's something for me is that I hope like my mission. So when I think about myself as a coach, I'm always tapping in and asking myself this question, like if I just sat down and had coffee or hung out with one of my clients for dinner or something, they would see the same Amanda in that role as they would as a coach, right? Of course, as a coach, like we wear a different hat in the moment of coaching. But for me, that's always an important pulse on, am I showing up with full authenticity? So for me, that integrity piece of, I want to show all my parts. And in the online world, especially, or even business, like if you think about business, back in the day when we were all young, like you literally never got a behind the scenes look at somebody's business, right? We would go to the yellow pages to like find a plumber, or we would, ask referrals, right? Those are the testament, right? This is why we talk so much about that inside of B.D.C. and cultivating results and wowing your people so they want more of you. But now we get to see everything. And because we get to see everything, if you want to follow us in our daily lives, you can check out our stories or our shorts or whatever the case is. I think it is important for us to have discernment on like, how much are we going to show? First off, that's totally up to you. Show your kids or don't. Show this part of you or don't. But for me in particular, I want people to know who I fully am, so there's no surprises, right, as we get working together. Because if we're not living out our values, then it can be that as we coach someone, that values conflict comes in down the road. And that's where this actually matters, is having integrity and walking the walk also attracts the right people, right? Sharing that I'm a mom is one of the reasons you came to me. And I think it's why many clients do, is like, oh, she's doing this and she's raising kids, or, oh, she's doing this and she's maintaining her health, or, oh, she's doing this and she's like all these things. And I think that that is like, such a critical component of it. So I agree. You guys want to add anything that comes up for you?
I just wanted to add that the experience that you have is amazing. But also, like, I've never felt intimidated by that. Like, you've always found a way to meet me right where I'm at, and also drop enough of hints on how I can expand myself, right? Because you have that experience. That has been something that's been really important to me. When I see those ads for those people that will tell you that, I'll have you making this much money in this many days. Like, it's never felt that way with you. It's never been, of course we all want to make money, but really primarily, I want to know how to serve and show up for my clients the best way that I can. And that's really something that I love about working with you.
Thank you. That's super sweet. I appreciate those kind words. Shannon, anything before we move on?
I just wanted to tag on what Tina said. Yeah, I'm all about being as genuine as possible and just being real and being me. And that's why I've always felt close to you, I think, because you always just sort of show up in that genuine way and just, you don't hesitate to just tell what, your stories about the failures that you may have had or the mistakes that you've made along the way in business or otherwise. And so, yeah, I just wanted to tag on that and say that I agree with that piece about you.
Thank you. I think it's so interesting, right? It's so easy to see that in other people. And I think that's truly what brings us in, is like people's messes are the magic, because we see their human element of that. And so for those of you listening that feel like you're not far enough along, or you don't have your shit figured out yet, so why can I support people? I mean, all of us, if you're all okay with me saying that, because I get to know you, it's like, we all don't have our shit figured out all the time. We're just a few steps ahead. And if we can bring somebody up to speed and get them there faster, we don't want to tell you all the things we did right. We want to actually give you all the things that we did wrong, because that's going to be how we bypass, the speed at which we create transformation. And, this is where I think that truly what's going to help each of you stand out over time is this authenticity piece, because the market, there are many coaches, right? The coaching industry is wildly growing, and people are done with, like you said, the bro marketing tactics. They want to see like real humans with real problems, with real results. And it's taking longer to build that trust with people. But I think the more we can be who we are, the faster we have opportunities to cultivate that. So I would love to ask you guys have been really part of the Best Damn Coach, or at least not everybody on the call has. Some of you have joined more, later than others, but you've been a part of what I would call the founding crew, right? We launched this program, and my vision is to bring together this amazing, powerful community of authentic coaches who are not focused exclusively on money. We're focused on service. We're focused on change. We're focused on ourselves, personal development junkies too. We have all this space and all the things that we want. But I'm curious, why did you say yes to coming on board with the B.D.C?
Well, to be just quite honest, you. Because I've been working with you for a while and I feel very comfortable with you, and I just wanted to continue. I know that you get me. I know you know my story. You've been there from the beginning. So it's nice to know that you have all that information and you understand me. So that's honestly the biggest reason I did, is just to continue to get coached by you.
Well, I appreciate that. And that's also a learning for all of us. I feel like one of the mistakes I made early in business is I thought I wanted to have a whole bunch of different coaches, and I found myself starting over every single time. It was like, new coach, new strategies, starting over. And I was like, wow, this is not serving me. And then I finally had to go, oh, this person, like they get me. I want them to like be with me consistently over time so they can see the evolution and they can grow with me. And I appreciate that component because your people, like that's projection for you. Your people are going to want that from you too. And it goes back to the root of like, serve your people. They keep coming back. That's just about in the way we coach too, right? In our coaching style.
Yeah. I mean, so I also had the same experience as Shannon. I had worked with Amanda earlier and she created the Best Damn Coach community. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like something I want to be a part of. To work with you more, Amanda, to be a part of a community that is, you know, all these coaches like building together. I think that was one of the things that I was really missing was just community and feeling like I wasn't just out there on my own trying to do this thing, you know, and I was like, okay, it's nice to come together weekly and just, you know, grow as a coach. And definitely the name too, Amanda, kudos on the name. I really love it because who doesn't want to be the best damn coach they can be, right? Like if you're calling yourself a coach, like you want to be like, I've always want to be the best version of it that I can be. Like in anything I do, even as a physician, as a mom, I always want to be the best I can be. And so I think that also brings us back to the whole piece of integrity of honing your skills, developing them, like keep practicing. Like you can't be your best. It's basically like a practice. Like they call it the practice of medicine and the practice of yoga. Whatever is a practice is called a practice because you have to keep doing it and you keep having, you know, in medicine, we constantly have to do continuing medical education and you want to just keep growing and learning. And so I love that you bring that in and you teach us how to help our clients even better, you know, and gain more skills. So I think that that's really important. And it's not just about like being this like amazing marketer, but then also once you get those clients in is just serving them to the highest capacity and helping them get results. And I also love how you teach us like how, you know, when you have a raving client who you help get amazing results, they're going to go out there and tell everybody about you. And that'll probably grow your business even more. So it's the right way of doing business, I think, and being a coach.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Tina, how about you? Why the B.D.C.?
Well, like Archana and Shannon already mentioned, number one, you, because I do have some previous working experience with you. So I knew a little bit of what I was getting myself into. And the community has been an amazing piece of that I didn't expect going into it. Like I knew about working with Amanda and I knew that the content and all the things that she said that was going to be available in that program were going to be amazing. But the calls that we have and just getting to meet people and getting their different perspectives on where they're at, because there are people that are further ahead than me. And there are some that I feel like are kind of in the same place that I'm at on my path of business development and growth. So it's just been such a great community and learning experience for sure.
Thank you guys for sharing. I'm honored. I think too that it's interesting. I didn't do this on purpose, but I picked people based on like their journeys and where they're at so we could see this diversity. And as you guys are talking, I was like, oh, I had the opportunity to work with you in a different format than just this. But my mind is like, this is what I teach, right? You know, serve your people and they want to continue to be a part of your world. And I think that, as Archana said, is through the test of time, back to the yellow pages, like word of mouth referrals will forever and has always been the one way to grow a business. It doesn't require you to spend money on marketing, doesn't require you to invest in Facebook ads and go to all the networking events. It literally just is conversations and service. And that goes a long way. And I do think that, I think people, I don't know about you guys, this is just a caveat, I think people are wanting that more. Like we're circling back to that personally. Like I'm just seeing this desire for in-person communication. I'm seeing a desire, and it's causing us, right, to think differently on how we coach and how we market. But I think people really are coming back to almost this like grassroots. How do we really feel deep connection with people because we are craving that? Does anybody else feel that, or am I just living that in that world alone? Yeah. Tina, how so specifically for you?
Yeah, I really feel like that. And I don't know if that's like a side effect of the whole COVID and everything was Zoom and work from home and you were so like on your own. But there's just something different and magical when you're in a room with other people and you have that conversation. you really do truly connect with them on a different level. So for me, that's been something that I've noticed recently and why I want to get out and get into those in-person rooms more often.
Yeah, totally agree. Anybody else want to add on that? Just a random caveat, just my thoughts and feelings around it. So let's talk a little bit more about the B.D.C. And I'm curious, like, what's the most valuable piece for you up to this point? You know, inside the program, we do, as Archana said, we meet weekly as a community. There's opportunity for live coaching. And that's always how I've dreamed about my business personally, and we can talk more about this collectively, is I've always really dreamt of a boutique style business that really has like these intimate communities where we all kind of know each other. We have the time to slow down and take questions, because I've also been inside of like massive communities where it's like there's no touch points, there's no feedback. If you have questions, you can't answer. And the teacher in me is like, that's the most important time to like answer those questions. And so I love the intimacy of the community. And then inside of that, we have a Facebook community. We're currently transitioning to an off social media app, which I'm really excited about. And then we have vaults of resources, right? The business resources and the coaching resources, which I see as like done for you stuff, because the goal is to avoid starting from scratch, because that's a waste of time, in my opinion. And when you have somebody who's done there, they can give you the templates to make it happen. But I'm curious from your perspective, what is the most valuable piece for you up to this point? Or maybe I didn't mention it. You have a different valuable piece, but I'd love to know your thoughts.
Well, definitely the community, the getting on, we get to get online and see each other every week and build those relationships, and hopefully even relationships outside of those meetings. So that's what's been most important to me. I just started it's only been 2 months for me, I think. So I feel like I'm just starting to get to know people, but that's definitely the most important thing, is to have those connections. I'm all about relationship connection.
I mean, which isn't surprising based on what you do, right? No shocker there. Archana, how about you? Like, what's your valuable piece?
Yeah, for me, it's actually like the way you teach, Amanda. I really like the way you present, you know, the concepts that you're teaching us. And I think it's totally the teacher in you, like coming out. I'm like, I feel like I'm in school, but like in a good way. Like I was that nerdy kid who liked school. So that's a compliment, Amanda.
Thank you. I'm a nerdy kid too.
But yeah, I think it's just like, it's workshop style too, which means like we are reflecting as you're asking us questions, and we're coming up with like a plan and like, you know, something that you can go implement right away. And like, there's been many times where you've taught us something and then I go like implement something, and like, you know, I have some great results that come out of that. And so it's very like tangible, very actionable. You know, sometimes communities, it's just like almost like too much mindset. It's like, yeah, we need mindset, but like sometimes you just need some actions and like things to do. Right. And direction. And I always appreciate how you're always very transparent about like, okay, this is where I was and this is what worked for me. And like, maybe you could try this or that, you know? And so I think like it's a great blend of like mindset, but then also like actions that we can take to really like move the needle in the direction that we're trying to go.
Awesome. I really appreciate that feedback. And that's like, if we all were to think about, I reflect a lot on like, what's my zone of genius like in life? And I think one of my zone of genius is unrelated to this. I actually think parenting is a zone of genius for me. I like that thought, and I'm going to hold on to that thought and belief. But I think I'm really good at helping people take action, right? I don't know if you guys have ever thought about like, not just going into helping people, but like inside of that container, have you ever thought about like what part of that container is your zone of genius? But I think there isn't an information shortage in the world. And the struggle is the implementation piece. And so I just think it's so critical to not like keep throwing new information without giving people an opportunity to really like at least take a nugget and know that from this, I'm going to go do this thing right now so that there can be results cultivated over and over. So if you're listening and you're coaching, like really think about that and how you can weave that into the way you teach, especially I think in a group format. So thank you. Tina, how about you? What's your value piece?
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you referred to it as like a kind of a boutique kind of program. I really liked the way you said that, because it does have that feel. I love the more intimate group where you can really get to know the other people that are on the call and where they're at in their journeys. That's been super valuable to me. the weekly calls are great. And, just to kind of echo a little bit what Archana was saying is the takeaways that you have, right? We always leave with something that we can take away and implement right away. So that would be what I would contribute.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I want to step away from the BDC. I so appreciate all the things that you're sharing. But you guys have all been on this journey for a little bit, some longer than others. And I want to speak specifically across the board to the person on the threshold of okay, I'm ready to do this coaching thing. They might be thinking, because I think we've all been there, where do I start? I'm so overwhelmed. All those things that we have, how do I get there? It feels scary, right? We've all been there. Yeah. All of us shaking our heads. I'm curious from your perspective now coming through this journey, if you could give them the $10,000 piece of advice that you would offer, your piece specifically, your $10,000 tip, what would that be to somebody that's just in the beginning stages of should I move forward? Is this possible?
Well, I think from what I have learned is that you just need to, and you've said this 1,000 times, Amanda, over the couple of years I've known you, and I didn't quite do it this way, but I would tell people, just go in there and start coaching people and then gather the data from that as to what you need to do as far as what program you need to develop or what direction to go, maybe even in your niche. Or so just start coaching people, doing the work, doing the action, and then following up with maybe website and logo and program development and all of that. Because I kind of did mine the other way around and,
Yeah, learnings. But what I hear you saying, and I'll get you next, Tina, I got you, is build a ship as you're sailing it, which is something I say all the time, right? And your niche reveals itself, but I think so we want it so locked in and perfect, which I totally get, that sometimes we miss other opportunities that come. I love that you shared that tip. I think it's gold. So go for it, Tina. What's yours?
Yeah, just to piggyback a little bit off what Shannon said, is that whole wanting it to be perfect. I feel like that really held me back for a really long time, is that I needed things to be perfect. I needed whatever content I was going to create, I wanted it to be perfect. Whatever workshop I was going to host, I wanted it to be perfect. And once I started just letting go of needing to be perfect and just doing it, the amount of confidence that came flooding in after I just did it was amazing. And you don't really think that that's the way it's going to work, right? You feel like you have to have all the pieces laid out and really know what you're doing to have that confidence. And it's the other way around. It comes after.
Yeah. Action creates the confidence, but we really want to think that the confidence creates the action, and it's just not true. So yeah, love that tip. Archana, do you have a $10,000 tip?
Yeah, it would be to just shut out all the noise from the rest of the world and just listen to yourself and really just dial it in and just focus in on what's true to you and what's in your heart. And, I remember being working in the ER and working these 12-hour shifts. And I was seeing tons of patients really sick and everything, patients trying to die on me. And I was all right, I know this is really great work, important work. I'm saving lives here, but I know I was made for more than being in this ER, and that there's more people out there that I'm meant to serve. And it was a tough decision to go out there and call myself a coach. And you certainly did get some different reactions from people, including from family members or extended family members. But, I just had to stay true to my heart, stay true to myself, and really just try to shut off all the other noise and be well, who am I trying to please ultimately? And to me, it's my creator ultimately. And I'm well, that's who put this in my heart, and I need to listen to that voice. And, once I decided that I was made for more and I was going to do something different, and I made it okay for myself and I gave myself that permission, then it was just about everybody's saying, just put one foot in front of the other. You're not going to know how to get from A to Z, but you can figure out how to get from A to B and then B to C and C to D and just keep going all along the way. And if I can give a second piece of advice, my other piece was like, for me, like I started coaching. I had no formal training as a coach, and it was a great way to start. But I will say that once I got certified, my confidence went through the roof, and I felt like I could serve my clients better. And I noticed a significant difference in the transformations that they were going to have too. So at some point, if you do decide like this is what you want to do, I do feel like, the right certification program can really help you be able to serve at the highest capacity.
Yeah, I like that piece of advice. And what I want to say to it is that you don't need it to get started. And I've had many coaches that have reached out and they're like, I'm going to go do this certification. And then, I'm ready to take on clients. And I really discourage that. And here's why. It's because it may not be the right certification for what you want to do. And that's where I've seen people waste, $20,000, $50,000 in certifications. And that's why we love the B.D.C, like all capacities. Like if you're not certified, this is a great place to learn, like models that can help you serve your clients. And I am a mixed modalities coach. I like many models, and I've invested upwards of 6 figures, like learning modalities. And I haven't added them all in once. I've added them based on, I'm curious about that. Like I want to learn, like how can I use that modality and add it to my toolbox? And so I think it's different when it's coming from a place of have to desperation versus like curiosity and excitement to add to your toolbox. And I do think that there's great options, and have conversations, with the right people to know if they're a great fit for you along the way. But yeah, I think that's a great point. You guys, that's like $30,000 in one episode of tips, 40,000 because Archana gave us 2. And I think those are all beautiful reminders, no matter honestly where you're at in the journey, even if you're not just starting out. So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for just creating this space to come together. It's fun in a group like this to hear everybody's thoughts. But before we sign off, I would love one more time, now that they've had an opportunity for you to hear your thoughts and your journeys, just to one more time and like just a quick 10, 15 seconds, just share again who you are, your full name, who you serve, and then where they can connect with you. And we'll go in reverse order this time. We'll go Tina, Shannon, and then Archana.
So Tina Fitzlof here. You can find me on Instagram at Tina Fitzlof Coaching. I serve women over 40, that Gen X group of women. I help them reconnect with their purpose, rediscover who they are and who they want to become.
Love it.
And I am Shannon Brown. I serve couples and individuals who are wanting to reconnect in their relationships, whether it's because of a betrayal or just because you're just feeling disconnected in general. And you can find me on Instagram at reconnected_relationship.
My name is Archana Shrestha, and it's been such a pleasure to be here with you, Amanda. And I coach physician moms on losing weight for the very last time using an approach that takes just 5 minutes a day. And it's something I love to do. And if anyone would like to learn more about my program, I actually do have a free mini course which you can check out by going to mamadocschool.com. And it's MAMADOCS school.com. Thanks, Amanda.
You guys, this was an amazing episode. Again, I'm so grateful you were here with us. And you guys, they are an example of what is possible. Didn't come out of the womb wanting to be coaches, transitioned from other careers and followed their heart. And I hope that they also show you all the exciting things that will take place for you, what community is like, and the coaching available inside Best Damn Coach. So again, you guys, thank you so much. And we will check in with you next week.
One of the most important things you will ever do as a coach is ask questions. So I've put together a simple go-to resource that you can have in your back pocket as a coach of 10 powerful questions I believe every coach should know. So go ahead and head on over to amanda-walker.com/questions to grab yours now.